All right, so this is going to be a reading for Sagittarius. And for the Sagittarius that I am reading for today, I'm seeing that there's some major changes taking place in your life, and particularly you may be taking down some structures and moving on from commitments or foundations that you thought you could rely on that maybe you can't rely on anymore, or maybe they're just changing. It's time for you to move forward. And I really see you trying to summon the confidence to fully step into this next part of your life, take what you needed from sort of your old self. I'm hearing like your old heart, I don't know, your old life, and move into the next part. And that could be a bit of a challenge for you right now. I'm definitely seeing some pain attached to you here, some anxiety, a little bit of upsetness. And so, even though I do see you landing on your feet in the end, it could be that there's some resistance leading up to that in that process because of sort of the emotional highs and lows that you're moving through. So I'm going to dive into this reading in a second, but before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for being here and for receiving this reading. If you would like to receive a personal reading, I do offer them. You can email me below in the description box. And if you'd like to lend your energy to the channel in such a way that helps me manifest messages that resonate more for you, you can like and subscribe. But let's see what we have for you, Sagittarius. Your oracle cards for today are Sorrow, the Miser, and Celebration. So the energy that I'm kind of getting from your oracle cards is that Spirit's kind of wanting you to look up from the hole that you're kind of in and see that you have so much to celebrate and kind of try to move towards those celebratory energies. There may be a part of you that's being a little stingy with your happiness in a way of like, oh, I can't be happy, I have to be upset about these things, or how can I be happy at a time like this? And Spirit's really saying it's about your perspective and it's about what you choose to lend your energy to. So if you choose to lend your energy to those sorrowful energies around you, that's how you're going to feel. And if you choose to lean more into the celebratory energies around you, that's how you're going to feel. And it's really up to you at the end of the day. So let's take a look here at the recent past. I'm seeing that there was a change that you kind of maybe knew was on the horizon because things started to get really overwhelming or confusing for you. It could have felt like something has to give here, this foundation isn't going to stay up all by itself, and then it came down. And I see you maybe not accepting that or being a little bit upset over the state of things to the point of maybe being in denial of that experience or just maybe what it had to offer you. Interesting. So I'm seeing here there may have been this feeling of like looking for love or care in the wrong places and maybe not really seeing things clearly, or not, someone does something and sends you a message, and instead of taking it at face value, you kind of turn it around and around until you aren't fully getting the message, you're not seeing it clearly, it's not registering, and you're kind of more confused than you were beforehand because instead of just taking what someone said, it gets sort of misconstrued. And then I see there being like a tower moment, and it actually comes through as a very positive tower where you maybe some of you were traveling, others of you just kind of entering new communities or new spaces or something. A lot of love and happiness kind of came in, and it could have provided you with a certain level of clarity of like, oh, this is what my spirit is looking for, this is what I want. I don't necessarily have to worry about receiving what I need in these scenarios. I can trust this person or these people more. It's a really happy energy. And there may have kind of been this pull for you to go towards that or to receive that energy or something. And it's almost like you realize like you didn't even have to do anything. That energy is just kind of showing up in your life. But it's interesting because I also see some sort of discontentment over that energy, or maybe not being completely happy with it on some level. Maybe you're waiting for it to give you what you want. I don't know. I don't know what that energy is exactly, but we'll see if it makes more sense as we move through the reading. There's this start and stop energy that's very present here. It's like things are bad, things are good. Things are moving, then they're stagnant. You're happy, and then you're anxious. And currently you could be in this process of kind of transmuting some anxiety into like a lesson. Sorry if this isn't making sense. I hope this is resonating with someone. It's a little bit all over the place as readings go. There's some type of big change going on. That's what I can tell to be true about this reading. There's a big change going on, and it's going to require you to release control and to trust. Trust that things are moving the way that they're supposed to move. Trust that the universe is going to reach out and catch you. Trust that you're going to be okay. But I feel you feeling these energies of uncertainty and getting really in your head and really freaking out, which is fair. Like, that makes sense. When we don't know what's going on in our lives and we're sensing big changes, that can be really terrifying. And I do see you kind of feeling that energy. It may have something to do with your stability as it concerns another relationship or another connection. For some of you, a Gemini could be significant. Don't take that if it doesn't resonate, but just getting some Gemini energy here in the cards. But there's this feeling, of maybe needing to make a choice or wanting to make the right choice when it comes to your stability, and feeling really stressed of like, which way do I go? What if I make the wrong choice? Something like that. But then you have this hanged man energy, which is about having realizations, having a perspective shift, but having that experience through being still. And so if you're someone who typically kind of jumps into action when you need to figure something out, Spirit's asking you here to be still. And many of you could have already received this message and you're kind of actively meditating more or actively slowing down in order to kind of let the energies balance out. There may be this realization that, it doesn't matter what you do, things are going to be hard for a little bit. But there's also something about shifting your perspective from a lack mindset to one of abundance. And you're going to block your own blessings if you choose to take a mindset of everything is hard and this sucks. I see slowly something is coming to a close. Whether or not you want it or whether or not you agree with it, it's happening. And I'm seeing that you are kind of rejecting this ending because you're like, well, I was happy before. I don't want this to end. But regardless of what you do, this is coming to a close. And it needs to come to a close because something here is manifesting for you, and it's something that you don't see. It's like an opportunity that's kind of being constructed behind the scenes for you by Spirit, and it's almost like intentional on the part of the universe that you're not entirely aware of the moving parts. And so to you, it feels like nothing's moving or it's moving really slowly. And it's going to feel that way because actually there are energies that are coming together kind of behind the scenes, and you have to allow for this chapter to close. And I think that's where all the stress and the sorrow and the holding on kind of comes from, is you want to hold on to what you know. And what you know needs to be released. And you're kind of showing me this unwillingness to relax. There's this feeling of like waiting on knowing what's going to happen. And it's funny because whenever I ask Spirit what's going to happen, they show me. They're like, it's going to be great. All you have to do is keep it moving. But from where you're standing in your kind of human perspective where you can't see everything going on around you from your vantage point, you're like freaking out. You're like, this is terrible. So Spirit's asking you to trust, and not just to trust the universe, but actually trust yourself. Trust that you're going to come out of this okay. Trust that you have what it takes to come out of this okay. You're going to be okay. And it's kind of funny the way that it's coming through from Spirit. It's coming through as this energy of like patting a small child on the back because they spilled their milk and they're crying, but little do they realize they're about to get ice cream, you know. Spirit wants you to be ready for the ice cream and not just cry over spilled milk. Yeah, Spirit's saying be open, and also be open to it happening slowly. Like, just because you're open to something and it's coming towards you doesn't mean that it has to come rushing in or else it's not there. Like, it is going to come in slowly. You're not going to always know everything that's going on. It doesn't mean that it's not happening for you. It just means it's happening at a different pace. And if your pace isn't aligned with that, that's okay. Let's get 3 cards of advice for Sagittarius from the universe. You're going to have a lot of things to be happy about, and a lot of that's going to have to do with your stability, you know? Once this cycle closes out, there's going to be a lot of things for you to celebrate emotionally, materially, in your communities. You know, I see it all being just fine. You're kind of just in the, you know, you're in the darkness before the light, you know, and you just have to kind of keep going. So Spirit's saying, keep going. You're going to get there. It's going to take effort. It's going to take time. It's going to take work. It's going to take patience. But good things come to those who wait. So that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. I hope that this helps. I hope that this resonates, and I'll see you next time.